general public with the authority of science. And this, as Professor Feynman said, is something that the scientific integrity does not allow. Now, this lecture has been titled Darwin on Trial, mainly because that's the title of my first book, the one that I started to write while I was in Britain 10 years ago. Of course, it isn't really Darwin as a person. It's Darwinism, and in its modern idea. If you want to know why it says Darwin, frankly, it's because the publisher insisted on it as the easier title to use. But in any event, it's clearly only been part of a trial, because you've heard only the advocate for one side. Wouldn't you like to hear Richard Dawkins' reply to all of this? So would I. In fact, he was invited to debate me on the radio out here while I was here by the BBC, and he declined, saying he didn't want to dignify my position or give me any publicity or something like that, which is what you do say when you're in that kind of a situation. And the newspapers are so far a cheering section for you that are utterly credulous about everything you write. But if Dawkins did reply, if he were here, if I were going to turn this platform over to him, I would turn it over with a challenge and with the question. And here's what I'd ask him. I would say, Professor Dawkins, what would happen if you put aside your materialist prejudice for a while and just looked at the evidence that I've discussed and some other things that I could give him in addition, without assuming that you know the answer in advance? See, remember, he does insist he knows the answer in advance. That's universal Darwinism. So what if you put that aside? What if you said, I'm willing to consider that possibly materialism isn't the answer? That it may be that biology is the study of complicated things that look as if they give the appearance of having been created by a creator for a purpose, because that's just what they are, just as a possibility. What if you did that? If you did, wouldn't you come out agreeing that a person who lacked that a priori commitment to materialism would see a lot of reason for doubting that the blind watchmaker really can make all those watches? I'd love to hear him answer that question, particularly before a knowledgeable audience. But I don't think Professor Dawkins would ever be willing to put his faith through such an ordeal, his faith in materialism. Well, that's the trial. The verdict, of course, is up to you. I hope someday you'll get a chance to hear the argument for the other side.